What's going on, folks? You haven't heard from me for a while, and there are two reasons for that. One is that I've been working on my new album and working really hard on it, and it's getting so close to being done. I've just kind of had tunnel vision because I get wrapped up in creating this stuff, which I love to do, and I forget that I'm supposed to tell people, you know, that I chipped a nail and that I had a great dinner on Twitter and stuff. I tend to like fall off the map on social media because I'm not a natural tweeter. I'm not a natural sharer in that way. So I'm doing my best. That's one reason. The second reason is that Jackson Adams, who's one of my best friends in LA and who directs the majority of my videos, he's done like fucking MC Name and I mean just too many to count. Man of Constant Sorrow. Mrs. Robinson. He's directed most of my videos. And we were working on a new video, and then we were out for a Friday night with my friend Evan, who plays this worthy porn star in fucking MC Name. And Jackson and Evan decided to arm wrestle each other. And within 2 seconds of me counting them down to start arm wrestling, we heard this sound, and Jackson's arm broke in half at the humerus. He basically, I don't know how it worked, but like his arm snapped completely in half, and he's in this like bionic sling right now, and he was doing illustrations for this video, and I had to kind of step in, and I'm not as good as he is, and so it's been taking some time. But anyway, like my main director's like completely fucked physically, and so the priority has been on getting him healthy, not on finishing the videos. But once he's healthy, the videos will be out, and there's a lot on the way, so stay tuned for that. Business to get out of the way. We're finishing our Sloppy Seconds tour this week, and then we won't be on the road again till we do our next national tour in March. So if you happen to be in California, we're playing a lot of cities we've never played before, smaller places that we're excited for. So starting this Friday, if you happen to be in San Luis Obispo, Chico, Bakersfield, Pomona, San Diego, Santa Barbara, Las Vegas, I think that's all of them. I might have missed one. The tour dates are at the link below, georgewatsky.com/tour, and we're playing full concerts there. We're playing with A1, who's awesome, and it's going to be a really fun time, finishing the Sloppy Second tour out strong, and yeah, it starts this Friday, and we'll be going through December 8th when we play San Diego with the Blue Scholars, who are a favorite group of mine. If you listened to hip-hop in the early 2000s, and you liked Mos Def and Talib Kweli and all these acts that were on this old label called Rawkus Records, you probably heard of the Blue Scholars because they were a Rawkus Records act, and like percussionists, like all this hip hop that I grew up listening to is in that world, and the Blue Scholars are fucking rad. So we're playing with them in San Diego with A1 on December 8th, and that wraps up Sloppy Seconds tour. Then we'll be back around to hopefully visit you in the spring if you're not close to those dates. Anyway, I wanted to talk to you a little bit today about Cardboard Castles, which is the new album. I've never worked this hard on a project before. We've pretty much, my mentality with every project is leave it all on the table. So if I have money to spend, which I happen to have for this project because we got a record deal, we got an independent deal. So basically what that means is there's a distributor who, in this case, they're called Welk Music Group. I don't know if I'm supposed to be announcing all this, but just keep it between us. It's fine. They do Vanguard Records and Sugar Hill Records, and they gave me a budget to basically get advanced against the record. So it means I get to retain complete creative control. It's not a major label. They just distribute the record, and I basically hand deliver it to them, and it's either good or it's not, but it's whatever I want it to be. So it's an independent deal. So I have this money to play around with, and if I have money, I generally don't spend it on fixing my car or buying myself clothes. I spend it on making more videos. I spend it on getting a gospel choir in to record for us, or getting a string section and trying to make the album as amazing as it can be. And so we've pretty much thrown the kitchen sink at this album in ways that we never had the flexibility to do before. Like, this is not a mixtape. It sounds really professional. It's really rad. I'm incredibly proud of it. And the central theme of it, I was trying to decide, like what do I have to say? What do I, as a straight, white, middle-class male, have to say? Because a lot of people, I tell them I'm a rapper, and they go, "Oh, you don't look like a rapper. You shouldn't be a rapper." That's bullshit. because everybody has a perspective that's compelling. You know, it doesn't mean that I'm inventing stories that don't exist. It means that I'm telling you what my perspective is, and every human has faced the same universal things: love, loss, feelings of rejection, hopes, aspirations, um, you know, insecurity, anxiety. These things are not limited to certain groups of people, and there's no reason that we can't speak to each other regardless of our background, as long as we're honest about where we're coming from. So, I sat down and I said, I have an opportunity here to put out a cohesive album, and even if I never become the next huge thing, I have an opportunity to speak to the people who I relate to and who relate to me, and that's a huge opportunity. And what I've been dealing with a lot living in Los Angeles, this idea of aspirations and not giving up on a dream, but also realizing that even though we may have dreams that are large, that are ambitious, that take years to fulfill, those dreams don't make us better than anybody else, because for every one of us that has something that we're trying to reach for, there's 6,999,999 other people who have their own perspectives, who are dealing with their own problems, who, for the majority, for someone like me, their problems are probably more dire than mine, living in a country where they may not have all the amenities and luxuries that I have living in the United States, in Los Feliz and Los Angeles. And so it's oh, I'm blowing up. What is the balance between respecting your goals, between working your ass off to achieve your goals, and between realizing that your goals aren't that fucking important in the grand scheme of things? If we get so wrapped up in ourselves that we can't zoom out and realize that we're part of this grander world, that we're on this planet for a very brief amount of time, and that what's more important than us becoming famous or becoming successful is us becoming good people and in actually enjoying this brief sliver of time that we have on this planet and contributing to the betterment of the planet. So what is that balance? I tried to find the balance on the album between not being completely self-absorbed and also recognizing that having a dream is really important. And if you have it, you have to leave all your cards on the table. You cannot go half-assed and expect it to work out. So I'm calling it Cardboard Castles because when I was younger, I would make cardboard castles. I've always been fascinated with crafts and with creating things, with what can we make out of what we have, even if it's not much, even if it's just a fucking toilet paper roll and a rubber band and some colored pencils. And it's the title track of the album. I'm really excited for you guys to hear that one. But it represents the trajectory that I've taken in my life, but also was based in a very real thing that I did for hours and hours and hours when I was younger. So I thought I'd actually include some of the cardboard castles that I made when I was younger in the liner notes of the album. And I haven't decided to do that yet for sure, but I also thought that I would show you guys some of the castles that I made. So I was up in San Francisco for Thanksgiving, and I brought down a bunch of the castles to LA where I'm at now, so I could take pictures of them for the liner notes. And I wanted to show you some of them. So these aren't actually all castles. They're just all different crafts projects. And I do actually have real castles, but they're not quite as interesting as some of these other ones. So this, I probably made it when I was like 10 or something, is a biplane that I made. Well, it's not a biplane, I guess, if it doesn't have. Does biplane have two wings, like one layer and another layer? I don't know. It's a regular plane, propeller plane that I made out of a Hanson's, or two Hanson's soda cans. I really loved Hanson's Kiwi Strawberry, and I figured I would show my love for Hanson's Kiwi Strawberry. This is, I guess, a trend of mine of having infatuations with natural food brands. Although Hanson's probably made by like fucking Pepsi or some shit. Canned under the authority of the Hanson Beverage Company. Oh, I guess not. Maybe it is now. Anyway, I made this biplane. I used a paper clip to make I don't think those would actually work on a landing strip, but it's little stand wheels. It's obviously got a spoiler in the back, a functional can propeller. This is one that I made when I think I was younger than that. And this Scotch tape is not meant to stand the withering gaze of time. Like all the Scotch tape, all these fucking things is just completely falling apart. So I have to do my best to preserve the archaeological record before these things actually do crumble apart. But this is a squid that I made out of a toilet paper roll, and my I like things that were kind of functional, that were crafts, but like had an interactive element to them. So this one, as you can see, it's got a straw coming through it, and this is not an anatomically correct squid. But I think my idea was that I could funnel ink through the top, and I think I like took apart some pens or something to actually like make the ink go through, and I probably stained a bunch of shit. But my idea was like, look, you could have a real squirting squid that like would it escape it. This I don't know why its ink comes out its like nose, but anyway. The next one that I made, I had this series every Christmas. I would make cookie holders. So I celebrated Hanukkah and Christmas. And at Christmas, I figured if we're going to have cookies out and the real Santa's going to come down our chimney, he's going to want the cookies and milk. But we got to make sure it's not some imposter Santa that's eating our cookies and milk. So what we're going to do is we're going to hide the cookies and milk under a kind of canopy. We're going to create an obstruction so that if it's an imposter Santa coming down the chimney, he won't see the cookies and milk and then eat it and then fucking make off with our cookies and milk and not leave us any gifts. These were important concerns to me. But I figured if it was the real Santa, he would have his like infrared cookie radar, and he'd be able to find it even if we put something over the cookies and milk. So every year my like cookie container became more and more elaborate. But I think this was an early one before I'd really learned to draw very well. This was a Christmas cookie container. It's like a house, as you can see. And then on one side, I don't know if you can read any of that. To Santa Claus, ho ho ho, from George. I think I drew a picture of myself. I can see an arrow pointing to something. I'm trying to see if there's a good drawing of me. I can't really. Love George. Really love that motherfucker. Reindeer, people holding hand around the world. See, as you can see, I was already a very progressive internationalist. I love you, Santa. I don't think I loved him for anything more than the fact that he was bringing me gifts, but, Oh, there's a little moon saying, what's up, moon? What's up, bruh? Anyway, I kind of showed you I'm actually pretty proud of that little biplane, but a lot of that stuff's, stuff I made when I was younger, and then I got a little bit better at my crafts projects, but the stuff that looks better is almost not as interesting and funny to me. But anyway, that's just a little taste of it. I'm so excited for you guys to hear this album. Like, when I get so excited about being proud of a project, at first I start thinking when we're working on it, oh, how do I make this something that's really going to catch on and really going to get big? And then what happens is I start working on tracks, and the more I work on tracks, the more invested I get in them, and the more invested I get in them, the more I care about them, the more I believe in the message, the less I care about how big it gets, and the more I just believe in this project and want people to hear it, who really want to hear it. Not necessarily the casual fans who are just looking for radio hits. Like, I want this to be for the people who really see something different in me and something compelling, and I don't think me just trying to create top 40 jams would be interesting at all, because that's not what makes my voice different than what's out there already. So, like I said, I just can't wait for you guys to hear it. It will probably be either late February or very, very early March, but no later than that, because we're going to hit the road again. It has to be out, and we're shooting. I've already shot 2 videos for it. I'm probably going to shoot 4 to 7 more. So I'm going to release a lot of videos. It's going to be a big part of our push. But anyway, yeah, Friday, San Luis Obispo, Santa Cruz, San Diego, Pomona, Bakersfield, Las Vegas, Chico. I will see you guys very soon. Everyone else, I will see you a little bit later, but not too much later. Have a great day.